I mean, for me, film writing is at this point still a hobby. I am working at the criminal court, and so I see a lot of things, and so I draw a lot of inspiration from that because there's a lot, of course, happening and a lot of things that I could never think of myself. And but also a lot of my films, most of my films so far have been to some extent drawn from my own life. And in this case, it's that I have always the subject matter of just the guy who's walking out of the club and throwing up. That is something that has always very much scared me, and I felt like this is something I've always tried to kind of work through things in films, and so I tried to use that as a start, as a basis. And also because we are, new and emerging filmmakers, we try to find all different things that you use in films and try to, rehearse it and find out how to do it. And that was one of the challenges that we set ourselves. And then the story kind of unfolded around this with a lot of imagination.
Yeah, yeah. But you did write first the script, and the script was pretty much what you shot, or were you did you make other changes during the shooting, or?
No, we pretty much shot the script as I wrote it. But my co-producers, Philip Joost, who's also the cinematographer, and Ilya Baumeier, who is the actor, they co-wrote it with me, or I basically sent them the script and they gave their inputs. And so we developed the script and then we essentially shot it the way that we had it at that point.
Ah, okay, okay, very nice. Uh, okay, now you did talk about the subtext, and as a matter of fact, one can read a lot of subtext in this short. And what made you go towards this kind of comedy type, let's say? I mean, because yeah, the humor comes out of what we understand from the words, but also what we suspect. We also understand from understanding also from the same words, and so you're laying out this subtext, but it's not really obvious. It's a matter of interpretation to me,
Mhm.
anyway.
Mhm.
And what made you go that way?
I feel like this is basically just my kind of humor. I just enjoy sort of the double entendre kind of thing and the weird moments between two people where both actually probably know what they are talking about, but they're not saying it out loud. And it's the subtext, and it's all this also chemistry that happens between two people that I find interesting. I'm also a big fan of just very, very cheap, stupid humor, but I love it when it's when it's a little subtle and when the humor comes out of also those moments where he is kind of stuttering and not really knowing what to say. And I just find that very amusing to look at, because I guess it's also relatable to everyone to be in situations, in uncomfortable situations, and kind of stumbling over words. And I think the humor comes out of the fact that a lot of people can relate to it.
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, real life is full of this kind of situations, but we don't automatically laugh because sometimes it's at our expense
Yeah.
or difficult. But putting it in film, then one can understand it because it's something that we could be used to. I, I think you also in this film, this is something that struck me. You are really tackling the question of power in workplace,
Mhm.
power in the workplace, and sometimes the abuse of power. I was almost feeling at one point that you meant to maybe. I wouldn't say harassment, but something close to what could be a harassment situation coming from a she boss to towards her
employee,
or,
yes.
or inferior.
Yeah.
Is that something you meant to try to
Yeah, I feel like it's on one hand it's also turning it around, because I feel like the first thought would be that the boss would be the man and the woman would be the person in the situation who is, you know, inferior and has to navigate the situation. And I just wanted to turn it around. And I thought that it was interesting, not only because of maybe from a feminist perspective, but also interesting from the perspective that also men can be in a situation like that and be uncomfortable and not, I feel like, maybe not being taken quite as seriously as if a woman would have been in this situation, because then it would be clear that it's, yeah, that it is harassment. And in this case, it's probably expected that he would think, oh, you know, that's nice, or, you know, she's interested in me, wonderful. But it's still, she is his boss. And so I find it interesting to turn these things around sometimes.
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, it's very interesting because it really makes the point that harassment is a matter of power. It's not a matter of being a man or a woman. Obviously, when men have power, they abuse it. But maybe some women could use that power.
Yeah.
And then it's very nice and subtle way to solve this is when the same people, when they're out of this power relationship, then it's may tie up in a different way, but it's more in a nicer way, in a way that is that is fulfilling to both of them. I think you're making this point, which is also very nice, and as a theme, almost as a theme to this film, because you you're making this point very clearly, and because at the end he wasn't that mad after all, you know, when he got into the level where he could discuss equally with her, then yeah, that
and it's also about him kind of being an opportunist and just taking that situation, taking as much out of that situation as he can, without really also maybe taking his own desires into, or like his own comfort level into consideration. He just feels like, oh, maybe I can make money, or maybe I can get something out of this. And that's also interesting, because that's usually also something that in these power dynamics happens, that one person is abusing the power, but the other person is playing along with it because they think they can get something out of it, which is always interesting in that situation.
Yeah, well, these are very serious psychological and even problems that you can find in courts, just like you said.
Yeah.
Because it may end up in court, but you tackled it through a nice comedy that unfolds and finishes with a pretty good ending. So it's I need to congratulate you for for that. Tell me, what is your background and experience in film? Because you said you're more of it's more of a hobby to you so far. So
Yeah.
have you made other films in this manner as a hobby, as you said?
Yes, we have. I mean, I have, of course, I've studied law here in Switzerland, and then afterwards I went to acting school in New York. And after a year of acting school, I realized that it's not so much the acting that I'm interested in, more so behind the camera and the storytelling, really. And I came back to Switzerland and I started just writing my own scripts. And at first, basically, what I did is I wrote a script just so I could play the main character. So I wrote a role for myself. And as we were filming that first film, which is not a very good film, but it's a first step. I realized, oh yeah, I really like the whole storytelling aspect and the directorial aspect of it. And so more and more I started to go behind the camera. And the last two films I've only written and directed, and I let those who actually can act play in it. And so yeah, I this is the fourth film that I've made, short film. And those two that I've mentioned before, Philip Joost and Ilya Baumeier, we have now we are the Moonbird Pictures now. We've created a group together, and we are planning on eventually making a feature film. But yeah, it's gonna take time.
Yeah, yeah. Are they also in the comedy genre, or did you try something else?
All different kinds of genre, really. I mean, the last one that we did was more crime, obviously coming from my side of it. And yeah, we are interested in all kinds of things. But for me, in my writing, comedy always plays a role, because I also think that especially and also the difficult subjects are kind of easier to tackle through comedy, or not easier, but easier to receive as an audience through comedy. So I'm always having that comedic element in it.
Yeah, that's very interesting to think of the audience and how they could maybe take a message better through comedy. It's a very interesting approach. And you are already, as you say, thinking of a feature film. You are already playing with some an idea, or
Yeah, we have some ideas. Currently, I have written another script that's a short film script that we are planning to film in August this year. But the feature film, it's at this point it's really just an idea. We are just thinking around some subjects, but we have no actual theme yet. It's really just a dream at this point.
okay, that's nice. Dreams can come true. Don't
Yeah.
worry. But when you say we, you're talking about a team of people just like you who do this as a hobby, or how do you operate? I mean,
I'm actually, as my the cinematographer is an actual, he is a photographer and filmmaker by trade. And but he's also doing these kinds of films more or less as a hobby. Obviously, so far we haven't been earning money with this. And Ilya Baumeier is a full-time actor. He is acting in other films and TV, and mostly in Switzerland and Germany. And yeah, so they are in fact actually, they do this as a actual job, and for me it's still a hobby. And then my whole crew really is also, they also have their day jobs, and they are basically just doing this as a hobby, but a very elaborate hobby at this point.
yeah, because I see that the result is very professional, very well done. So that's good. What are your plans besides making this feature movie? You have plans? I mean, career plans in cinema, or do you plan to be on this model, very peculiar model, serious cinema as a hobby?
I it's difficult to say. When I was younger, I definitely had the plan of working in film in some way, professionally and full time. And at this point, I still would love it. I mean, if Netflix or something were to come along and say, let's do this, I think I would do it. But it's just really also a matter of somehow needing to earn money with it. And I feel like at this point it's a great hybrid model to be earning money with a serious day job and to putting that into filmmaking. But it would be, yes, it would be the goal to maybe eventually do this at least part-time as an actual job.
Okay, let's hope for the film that will put all the lights on you and let you just do this jump
Yeah.
to the cinema, because I suppose that would be a nice way to transit
Yeah,
to full time film making. Uh,
absolutely.
the best luck to your film in our festival, and the best luck to you in your career and hobby career, let's call it. And have a very good day, very pleasant and good day. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.